Greetings from the Jazz Cloud. I'm Richie Zellen, and I want to welcome you to the Jazz Guitar channel. In this video, I bring you the third in a series of Coltrane perspectives on using pentatonics. If you missed the first two, be sure to check them out. In them, I showed you how the legendary John Coltrane pioneered the use of the common minor pentatonic and the Kumoi pentatonic of Japanese origin. And he did so by superimposing them over different chord progressions. Today, we will continue exploring the use of pentatonics as used by the post-bop masters. And in this occasion, I want to introduce you to my favorite pentatonic. And this is actually the one I use the most. So let me play the major pentatonic in the key of A. Now, if we play the major flat 6 pentatonic, all we're doing is lowering the 6th degree. So in other words, and we can say it's comprised of notes from the melodic minor's 5th mode, which is the Mixolydian flat 6. Now, before I show you how to superimpose the scale over different chords, I want you to get a taste of what it sounds like. So like I did in the previous lessons with both the minor and Kumoi pentatonic, next I am going to use it to improvise over the changes to All the Things You Are. And you will see some notation on the screen showing exactly how I am using the major flat 6 pentatonic in relation to each chord. This way, if you downloaded the study packages for the 2 previous pentatonics, you will now have 3 different superimposition maps to use over this popular standard. You see, the idea here is to combine all 3 pentatonics because each one has its own melodic characteristics. As a result, when we superimpose them against a given chord, each one will emphasize different chord tones and upper extensions. That being said, keep in mind that next I am going to employ the major flat 6 pentatonic exclusively, which can sound a bit repetitious or maybe predictable, that is if you use it throughout an entire progression. And this is also because I am using it straight without any added chromatics in order for you to hear the pure effect of the major flat 6 pentatonic in action. So like I mentioned earlier, the major flat 6 is my favorite of all the Coltrane pentatonics. And one of the reasons is because throughout the years, I've also heard it frequently in the playing of some of my favorite post-bop jazz guitarists, such as John Scofield and John Abercrombie. The other reason is because it contains the notes of a melodic minor, which makes it very practical to use over jazz standards. And this reminds me, if you want to know even more about its utility, please check out the video I did titled The Most Useful Scale in Modern Jazz. Next, I want to teach you several superimposition formulas so you can use this pentatonic over different chord types. I also want to show you how to practice the scale and how to create lines from Motivic sequences. Finally, be sure to stick with me because I will also show you some ready-to-play 2-5-1 lines using exclusively the major flat 6 pentatonic. And we're going to learn how to superimpose this over a minor 2-5-1 in the key of A. So we're going to start with a B, minor 7, flat 5 chord. And for this chord, we always want to superimpose this pentatonic starting on its flatted 7. So in the case of B, that would be A. So we would play. Then we're going to go to the 5 chord, which is an E7 altered. And for this altered chord, we always want to start on the flatted 6 of the chord, which in the key of E would be C. So we play. And finally, for the 1 chord, if we play a 1 minor 6 or 1 minor major 7 chord, we want to start the major flat 6 pentatonic over the 5th of the chord, which in the key of A would be E. So to recap, it would sound something like this, just playing the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, let's look at a superimposition formula for a major 2-5-1. And the first thing I want to point out, we're doing this again in the key of A, is that we're using a regular 2 minor 7 chord. There is no superimposition with this pentatonic available. So if you want to stick with the pentatonic flavor, I suggest just using a regular minor pentatonic. So let's use a substitute dominant here for this. So instead of the E altered, we're going to use a B flat sharp 11. And for this chord, for dominant sharp 11 chords, we always want to begin the major flat 6 pentatonic on its 2nd degree. So in the case of B flat, it would be C. And finally, for the 1 chord, we can use a major 7 sharp 11 or major 7 sharp 5 chord. And we always want to start the major flat 6 pentatonic on the 3rd of this chord. So, and that holds true also if you're playing a major 7 sharp 11. So we have an interesting, very practical interval movement from root to root when applying this formula. So if we're starting with just a regular minor pentatonic, when we go to the 5 chord, all we do is go up half step and play the major flat 6 pentatonic. And then we go up another half step for the 1 chord and for the 1 major 7 sharp 5 or sharp 11 chord. So to recap, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I want to show you some exercises to get the major flat 6 pentatonic under your fingers, as well as to derive vocabulary from it. And like I've said in the previous lessons, I believe this is best done by learning 4-note Motivic sequences. So let's begin by taking this 4-note motif. 1, flat 6, 5, and then repeating the 1. And we're doing this, of course, in the key of A, and I'm playing this against a D minor major 7 chord. Because remember, for that chord type, we always superimpose over its 5th, which in this case would be A. Okay? And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try a more complex one, and this is going to be an ascending sequence. And I want to use 1, 3, flat 6, and again the 1. And it goes like this. Let me play it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, I want to show you some ready-to-play minor 2-5-1 lines combining different major flat 6 pentatonic motifs. But before I do so, if you're interested in really getting the most out of this concept, I want to encourage you to download the study package I've prepared. It includes a PDF with all the superimposition theory in this lesson explained, as well as 10 major flat 6 pentatonic ascending and descending sequences written in regular notation and tab. Also 8 2-5-1 lines in regular notation and tab, as well as MP3s of me playing all of them. Also included is the superimposition map of the major flat 6 pentatonic to use over the changes to all the things you are. So if you have the download for parts 1 and 2, you will now have 3 superimposition maps, which will allow you to combine 3 different kinds of pentatonics over all the things you are. Finally, you also get a band-in-a-box file with all the vocabulary, along with a MIDI file which you can open up with the free app MuseScore if you don't already own Band-in-a-Box. And this will allow you to loop, slow down, and even transpose all the lines to any key. All of this is available for download for a nominal contribution from jazzguitar.richiezelland.com/premium, and you will find it under the mini courses section. And all these phrases are loosely based on the 4-note motifs that are sequenced and included in the PDF download. And let's start with a 2-measure 2-5-1, minor 2-5-1 in the key of A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, let's try a 4-measure minor 2-5-1, this time in the key of D minor. And I'm going to play this one first in 8 notes, and then we're going to vary the rhythms. And this is something you can do with any 8-note phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to play the same phrase, only that I'm going to vary the rhythms, and notice how it takes on a whole new life. It really begins to swing. 1, 2, 3, 4. This has been the 3rd in my series of Coltrane perspectives on using different kinds of pentatonics. And I'm curious to know how many of you have tried any of these pentatonics over chord changes, and I want to hear your thoughts. I'd also like to know if you enjoy these post-bop oriented lessons, or if you prefer, I stick more to conventional bebop. As usual, I appreciate your likes, comments, and welcome your questions. And if this is your first time on the Jazz Guitar channel and you enjoyed this lesson, please subscribe and click on a notification button so you won't miss any of my upcoming lessons. Look forward to sharing another info-filled video real soon with you. Until then, be good. Don't forget to practice, 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 and then practice some more. May peace be with you.